So, it's about the situationship, of course. Well, maybe I should just call it we were just non-exclusive dating. So, uh, long story short, he called me Wednesday, and um, we talked for maybe like 5 minutes, and I was just kind of very indifferent because I hadn't heard from him in a couple of weeks. And, I had previously said I didn't just want to be a booty call. I wanted a exclusive relationship. And when we first met, he had expressed that he was more focused on trying to get himself together, get his act together, get his money together, his career together. And looking back on that, I really should have respected that more and fell back. But I was just so excited about meeting someone who. But I really was excited about meeting someone who I felt was my twin flame, was my soulmate, was the person God had designed to be my husband. I'm just gonna put it out there. I got really excited and carried away about that, and I had been thinking that for a long time. I remember a conversation we had. And I was like, man, this man is on the same page as me. This guy can be my spiritual leader. I think this is it. And of course, that particular night, it was like some of the best lovemaking I've ever had in my life. So, I had been thinking that for a while. So, I say all to say, I think the fallout from the divorce, the money situation, as a result of that fallout from the divorce, he was just not as secure as he used to be. And actually, that's kind of when he originally kind of stepped away from me. And I think what happened what happened is that I could tell when I saw him at the end of June, he was yearning and longing for me, by the way he was looking at me. And he started to contact me more. He then called me and asked me to come over, but I declined to come over to see him. When we spoke on Wednesday, it was kind of like I hadn't talked to you in like almost 4 weeks. So I was kind of in a mindset, okay, yeah, he's letting me go. And I thought he was letting me I thought it was over. So then he called me on Thursday morning while I was at work, and he was really in his feelings. It seemed like he was emotionally hurt by the fact that I was not like laughing and smiling and excited to hear from him. And I was very indifferent. And he said that, he's like, maybe he's being a sensitive, like, quote unquote, sensitive ass nigga. But, he thought I would have been more happy to hear from him. And here's the thing, it's not that I wasn't happy to hear from him. It's just that I could kind of had already had in my mind, I thought, okay, this is not going to work. And one of the things I remember wrote in my journal was like, you know what? He's not in a really good position to make a relationship with me to work. He's still going through his divorce. He's still going through this child custody and support battle. And, I felt as though he needed to work on his marriage or get his marriage divorce finalized, work out that child custody support situation, be more secure in his career and just be more stable in his life, relationship, and his career in general. I thought that will be a good foundation for trying to start a committed long-term relationship that possibly might lead to a marriage. And I'm not saying I absolutely want marriage or not. I'm just saying that I that's how I see him. Um, so uh, he was just like really hurt. You could say he was like he was going through some emotional pain, I guess. Um, and he was kind of like, he's like, I want to see you. I want to see you. And I'm like, well, I said, I think you and I want different things. And, we kind of keep going back to this. And it kind of keeps becoming like an argument or a point of contention or disagreement. And these are things I said to him. And I think that we're at a point now that it's just better to be cordial because we're bumping heads on this particular issue. And I guess I kind of said this in a way to see if he was going to piss or get off the pot, right? Like, are we going to get serious or not? And I didn't expect for us to get serious on that particular day. It's just that I was wondering, like, I think in the back of my mind was wondering if he was going to pull the trigger. And of course, he did not pull the trigger. But he was really hurt. And this is where I felt his insecurity was coming out. He was like, you used to come see me when I was balling, when I had money. But now it's like, you're not wanting to come see me anymore. And I was like, that's interesting. It did correlate that that's the way it was. But he had been the one to put to end into it himself originally. And I just kind of reaffirmed that was the right thing to do, because I think really the good sign I see with him is that, unlike my ex-husband, right? My ex-husband was not solid in a career or a job, period, when we started dating. And then we were in our 20s, so it's a little bit different. But no, I mean, we were in our mid-20s. Like, so like with my ex-husband, he was doing real estate. He was kind of bullshitting with it, because that's like kind of an entrepreneurial type of thing. And in order to get a steady income, he was working at Target, right? And I look back, and then I mean, what happened was, back with my ex-husband, I had thought he had finished college. I didn't find out until after I had our first child. He hadn't even finished college. And I had made him go back to school to finish up, like, it was like 2 classes he had to finish up just to get his degree. I had made him do it. And, he went ahead and got into a relationship and a marriage with me, and he was not ready to be the head of a household, to be a leader, to be a spiritual covering. And on top of that, he was more a 50-50 guy. Like, oh, we both carry our own weight, we both contribute. I don't want it. Like, he didn't want to be a sole provider, right? And if you are a woman, you gotta understand, once we start having babies, you need your man to be a provider. Point blank, period. You need a man to be a provider. You don't need him to be a nurturer. You don't need him to be staying home with no baby. You don't need him to be making bottles and stuff. You need him to provide. That's the one thing long term that men are good at, is providing for a family. They're not good caretakers. Over the years, you can have erectile dysfunction, and so sexual satisfaction could go down, and just romance can go down, period. So but the one thing that man can do over the long term, that's one benefit for a woman to have men, is for them to provide. And I know my ex-husband, when, like I said, we were in our mid to late 20s, looking back, he was not looking to be that type of like provider, not even like for me to stop working and to watch our children or to care for our children when they were really small and young. He was not willing slash able to do that. And to be honest with you, I didn't feel safe enough with him to solely depend on him for income. I kind of felt as though it would have just been a very, very, very abusive situation if I had allowed that. So, that being said, fast forward to now, I actually kind of commend him, because when he was in a situation where his income dwindled, he wasn't trying to speed up the relationship moving forward and then be like, oh well, you need to pull your weight. It was kind of like, he said, I'm not in a position to be what you need right now. And I thought that was very commendable. But I think maybe it was just, maybe he in his heart, he does feel something for me. And being that he feels something for me, your heart wants what your heart wants. And that's, I want to spend time with my romantic friend. It was a romantic friendship. I want to. I'm yearning. It just seemed like it was like he's longing and yearning. I mean, I saw the way he was looking at me back in June, when there was this event we were at, and it was like he had this look of like longing in his eyes. So, I had been focusing more or less on what was going to be effective, because I have been on this journey of trying to find love for a very long time, and I have not done anything that has worked. I did not know what worked, and I would ask friends like, okay, what did you do in order to get this man to decide he wanted to be exclusive with you? I want to know what works. And no one seemed to know, could be able to give an answer. And all the answers I have been getting is like, you're telling me to do stuff that when I start to really, really ask your questions, you're telling me to do stuff that you are now admitting that did not work for you, that most of the time didn't work. So I'm like, I don't care about right or wrong at this point. I just want to know what's effective. I just want to know what works. And that's what and then when I thought about that, I was like, think long term. And it was funny because he had said to me, I need you to relax and just let me get to know you. Stop being so weird and antsy. It's like, I just want to get to know you. And this is, I think he said that back in January. He said, just allow me to get to know you. I've moved fast in the past. Allow me to get to know you. So, and I was thinking, if I were to think long term as far as my romantic friendship, what is I want in long term? What is that I don't want? And the one thing I can say is, in the long term, I don't want to be in this back and forth booty call type situationship for like 5 years before he pulls the trigger or before he says never mind. And I don't know exactly what it is in store in the future for him and I, but I know that I did not want to be in a long-term situationship. Because I remember my friend Tony told me about, he had friends where they were in a situation with for 5 years before they decided to make it exclusive. I did not want to do that. I didn't want to do a 5-year situationship or a 10-year situationship before we get exclusive. And I think he's amazing. I think he's a brilliant man. I really do. And I think he can do some amazing things if he works on his confidence and his security and his mastery of himself. I really believe that. I think he and I together could do some amazing things. I really do. But long term, those were some things I didn't want. In the long term, I wanted a committed relationship. And in the long term, you know, it's very possible for him to be this provider, and he has a lot of great ideas. It's just, I think he just has an issue feeling confident executing his ideas. But he's really, really smart. And I always tell him that. I say, you're really, really smart. But long term, I just did not want to be in limbo with him and then miss out on life because I'm all antsy and neurotic about, are we gonna be there or we're not gonna be together. I just did not want to do that in the long term. So I had basically said, I think we don't want the same things. I think we need to just be cordial, not because I don't like him or I didn't want to be with him. It's just that I was starting to think long term of what the things that I was scared that was going to happen. In the long term, I just did not want it to be a situation where I had wasted more years of my life on someone who in the long run didn't want me. So I think that's a good place to end it for now. I think he's amazing. I think he's great. And in the long term, I do want to be with him. I absolutely do. I just think that, I can't enable him to be soft. He has to be a man. I know when I first met him, he was making that money he felt more confident than he does right now. You can see it in his consonants. Like, he's just not as secure in himself as he was when he was making more money, when he was more in his purpose, when he was doing the things that he loved to do. So I hope, me and him can get together eventually in the long term. And that's basically it. I'm trying to think long term. So I think that is enough for now. I'll keep updating as things come up. That's a good place to stop. You have a good day.